Hey there, friends. This is Praying Medic, and this is my news update for March 1st. Thank you for joining me. I've got some encouraging, I have some encouraging observations about President Trump, Jeff Sessions, and Inspector General Michael Horowitz. And I'm just going to, people have been concerned about that ever since they saw the president tweet out about Sessions and the Department of Justice and Horowitz. Isn't that guy an Obama appointee? And why doesn't Sessions just have his own attorneys prosecute? Horowitz doesn't have any jurisdiction over that. So people have taken that tweet from the president and they have jumped to the conclusion that, oh no, we can't trust Jeff Sessions. We can't trust Horowitz, the Inspector General. Oh no, this is terrible. This is worse than we ever thought it would be. I would just caution you when you're looking at President Trump's tweets and you're looking at what he says, I would just caution you to realize that the president is always speaking to 2 or 3 different audiences. He has a message for the press, he has a message for Congress, and he has a message to us. Okay? And if you take the president's message to the press and you take that as your message, you are going to be confused. You're going to be disheartened and discouraged. You're not going to know what to make of the president's message because it's not intended for you. It's intended for the press. All right? So what I would say is this. You have to understand. The president has been playing sort of a game with the media and Congress ever since he got elected. The most recent message that the president put out about Jeff Sessions and Horowitz and the idea that he doesn't trust them is intended for the press and maybe for members of Congress, but not for us. The Inspector General's investigation. We have known for a while that the Inspector General has been investigating a number of things inside the FBI and the Department of Justice. You have to understand that there are many things the president can't tell us about Jeff Sessions, his Attorney General, because Sessions recused himself from most everything that has to do with the election. All right? So because the president and Jeff Sessions have this weird relationship where they can't even really be seen publicly talking. If Sessions and Trump went out to lunch together, the media would have a fit. They would accuse Trump of meddling in some Department of Justice thing that he's not supposed to be meddling in. And look, here's the thing. It's ridiculous from the beginning because the president, as the chief executive of the executive branch, Department of Justice and FBI are under the executive branch. He is the ultimate person at the top of the DOJ and the FBI. However, the press wants to make a storm out of everything, a scandal. President Trump is in a very unusual situation with respect to Jeff Sessions and the Department of Justice in that he can't be seen meddling in their affairs, certainly not by the press and not by Congress. Otherwise, he'll have to face all these accusations of, being a meddler and being corrupt and being a tyrant, right? So Trump has to have a hands-off approach with Jeff Sessions and the DOJ. At least for now. He has to. That's just what's expected. So, out of the blue, President Trump goes on Twitter and tweets about the Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz. Out of the blue. Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to tweet about the Inspector General. Why would the president, out of the blue, tweet about the Inspector General? Number one, you have to ask yourself, critical thinking, why? Why does Trump all of a sudden, unprovoked, start tweeting about Horowitz? What's going on? Well, we know from past reports that the Inspector General's report on politicization of the FBI and the Department of Justice, Comey, Holder, Lynch, all those people, the corruption, the FISA abuse, that's all been investigated for the last year. And we've been expecting Horowitz to have his report March or April. There was a letter, I don't know if it was between Goodlatte or Chuck Grassley and the Inspector General, but the understanding was that Horowitz would have his report ready by March or April. Well, today's March 1st. So we're coming into March and we're expecting the Inspector General's report to come out, which I have been under the impression by all the stuff that's coming out of the IG's office where he's been helping and assisting Devin Nunes and Grassley and Goodlatte in understand all the information that's going on with the politicization inside the FBI and Department of Justice. I have been expecting that Horowitz is going to drop a nuclear bomb that's going to recommend a special counsel that investigates those departments and probably some firing and maybe some prosecution. All right. That is what I've been expecting to come out of the Inspector General report, which is due March or April, last we heard. And Horowitz has been collaborating and working with Congress to expose the corruption. So I have not seen any evidence at all in the last 6 months. And I've been watching Horowitz and what's coming out of there and his communications with the different congressional committees. I haven't seen one thing that gives me any concern that we can't trust Horowitz to do the right thing. So Trump tweets out and says, hey, Horowitz, isn't that guy some Obama appointee? Why would Trump talk trash about Horowitz publicly? Why would Trump talk trash about Horowitz publicly if we know or suspect that Horowitz is going to have a damaging report for the swamp and the FBI and the DOJ? Because this is strategic. If Trump knows that Inspector General report's coming out, and if he knows it is going to be damaging to the FBI and DOJ, and he knows it is going to clear him even further and exonerate him and prove that he was right, he has to make the press think he doesn't trust Horowitz. And he doesn't trust Sessions, and he doesn't trust the Inspector General, he doesn't trust the process. Because if Trump signals to the media, I don't trust these guys, I don't trust Sessions, I don't trust Horowitz, I don't trust the Inspector General, why do we have to deal with that? They don't do anything, they're not worth anything. If Trump signals to the media that he doesn't trust Horowitz and Sessions, the media will defend them. The media will take their side. The media will defend them, and they'll say, oh, no, we can trust Horowitz. No, we trust Sessions. You're a bad dictator, Trump. You are Hitler. You're just trying to get rid of these good men, and you're trying to get off with your, from your crimes, and we're gonna impeach you. Horowitz is the one that's gonna. Mueller didn't do it. We're gonna get Horowitz to do it. So, in the same way that the president has maligned Robert Mueller all through this investigation, knowing darn well Mueller was never going to recommend indictment of Trump, Trump had to make Mueller look like a bad guy for the press and for Congress, even though Trump knew the whole time Mueller was not going to get anything on him. It was to Trump's advantage to paint Mueller as a bad guy so that the press would defend his decisions. Now, knowing that, you have to expect that Trump is going to paint Horowitz as a bad guy and Sessions as a bad guy, because he wants the press to defend them so that when they come out and exonerate Trump and point the finger of guilt at Comey and McCabe and Strzok and Lynch and Holder and everybody else, if the press and Congress embraces the Department of Justice and Horowitz, when Horowitz and Sessions drop the bomb, it's too late for the press to do anything. They've already embraced the outcome. and when the outcome happens. So I believe Trump is leveraging this situation. He's maneuvering in advance of that Inspector General's report coming out. I think Trump is maneuvering to get people in the press to trust Horowitz and trust Sessions, so that when the report comes out, they're going to have to own it. There's a lot of danger if you take Trump's tweets at face value. You have to understand he is very strategic in what he does. And when he's trying to close a deal, when he's in the process of making a deal, closing a deal, you can never gauge what he really wants as an outcome, because all of his strategy and all of his tactics in the process of the deal are working toward an end goal that he has not told you about. You don't know what his end goal is. All you can see is, well, he's embracing this and he's talking about that and he's proposing this. And if you look at what he's saying in the process, you're going to get confused. And that's why people are upset at Sessions. Oh, Sessions is a black hat now. I have to take the white hat off of Sessions and put the black hat on Sessions because Trump said Sessions is a bad guy, and we have to put a black hat on Rosenstein. We have to put a black hat on Horowitz and all these people with black hats, because you're always trying to figure out from Trump's tweets who the black hats and white hats are. And it doesn't work that way. You cannot do that. You have to, especially not in the middle of a situation like this, you can't start flipping white and black hats around. It just doesn't work. Trump has a strategic game in mind. And he is playing a game with the media and Congress. And those messages are not intended for you. They're intended for them. Q is giving us the real information. If you believe that Q is close to the president, and if you believe that Q is giving us valid information, Q has already warned us ahead of time, trust Sessions. Why did Q tell us to trust Sessions? Because Trump was going to tell the world publicly, don't trust Sessions. Trump's message is not for you. Q's message is for you. Q's message is trust Sessions. And Q told us that because Trump was going to have to say publicly, I don't trust Sessions, I don't trust Horowitz, I don't trust any of these people, right? Trump has to look like a paranoid dictator publicly for the benefit of the press. But Q has already told us in private, trust Sessions, trust the process, trust Trump, we've got this all planned out. So if you've been listening to Q and you've been watching, you have information the press doesn't have. And you have information that Congress doesn't have because they're not paying attention to Q. I don't think they are. Maybe they are. So it is not time to panic. It is not time to get freaked out about Sessions. It is not time to put black hats on people. It is time to chill, to pray, and to watch what happens, because what happens is going to surprise a lot of people. I think we're going to see a good Inspector General's report. I think it'll be fair and objective. I've read up on Horowitz. Horowitz had nothing but battles with Obama while he was Inspector General of the DOJ. Horowitz and Obama did not get along well. And Horowitz and Lynch and Holder went head to head on a lot of stuff. So I think we have reason to trust Horowitz. I think we have reason to trust Sessions. This is all kabuki theater. I wouldn't get too stressed about it. Q has not posted in a while. That is not unusual. Q will take off for a week or 10 days and not post. And look, Q sometimes will dump a whole bunch of information over a couple of days and then go silent for 3 or 4 days. Post some more, then go silent for a week. That's just how Q is. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't stress about it. I'm getting some more work done because Q is taking a break, and some work I needed to get done. So I'm enjoying the break from Q. Yes. Trump knows what he's doing. Trump and Sessions know what they're doing. They have this whole thing set up. It's just theater that they have to go through this nonsense because they have this idiotic media that won't let them alone. If it wasn't for the press, you wouldn't be seeing any of this nonsense going on. But this is all for the benefit of the press. Just remember that. This is not stuff that you need to be concerned about. I did not see the meeting today on guns. I did not catch it. I've been busy doing other things, creating podcasts, uploading videos, doing other stuff. I missed it. However, I would just say, look, Trump is the guy who campaigned on national concealed carry reciprocity. Did you think for a minute that Trump is going to throw us under the bus when it comes to the Second Amendment? Ain't going to happen. Look, what has Trump been doing for the last 3 weeks? It pays to look at the big picture sometimes. Look at the big picture. Trump, over the last 3 weeks, has had all these open meetings with Congress and with different parties, and he's invited the press to come in and cover the meetings. Meetings on trade, meetings on immigration, meetings on, gun reform, gun legislation, and school safety in schools. What Trump is trying to do is he is trying to invite America into the negotiating process. He's trying to give people an inside view of what actually happens when they're negotiating these issues. So as much as the issue itself is an issue, the bigger issue is Trump is trying to get people to look at the process. And some of the press doesn't want to show up, and they don't want to see the process. They don't want to see the negotiation. They want to be able to report on what they want to report. Because if Trump makes the negotiation process transparent, it takes away the ability of the media to lie about what is happening in the process. Trump is creating true transparency in government by opening up these meetings and discussions. So I would just say this. Look, be glad that he is creating a transparent process where the press can come in if they want, and you and I can look at the actual negotiations that are going on. That's what I see. Trump is really acting like a very mature leader who takes the process seriously. He's not, having his own little temper tantrums and wanting to have everything his way. He is a consummate negotiator, and he's allowing everyone to see the negotiation process, and I think that's great. I have no concerns about Trump's position on Second Amendment. Faith and trust is a big thing right now. If you don't have trust and you don't have faith, you're going to be freaking out every day. You're going to be scared, freaking out, running around, oh, what's going on? And there's no need for that. Yeah. The president is a good man. He knows what he's doing. You can get a little bit sidetracked if you don't pay close attention to how he's working the process. Having Hillary in the White House was actually never an option, whether you know that or not. That was never going to happen. During President Obama's administration, he and Hillary had screwed things up so badly that a number of generals were about to do a military coup. There was not uniform support for the military coup to get rid of Obama. But they saw the damage he was doing. All the wars and the selling of weapons and arming ISIS and all the stuff that was going on. The generals knew what was going on. Several of them had talked about doing a military coup and just getting rid of Obama. They didn't do that. They mitigated the damage, and they tried to minimize the damage that Obama done during his term in office and the damage that Hillary was doing as Secretary of State. I don't know this for a fact personally, but I have listened to some people in the intelligence community who have verified that this was the plan. This is their story, not mine. Yeah. All right. There are sources out there that you can go look at, and sources say, people familiar with the matter have reported. So what happened, so they say, was the intelligence community and the military decided that they were going to back Trump. And if Hillary did get elected, they were going to expose her crimes publicly and have her put on trial, and she would never be inaugurated. That was their plan. They flat out said Hillary is not going to be inaugurated. We will expose her for the corrupt person that she is. We'll make sure everyone knows what it is, and she'll be put on trial, and she's never going to be inaugurated. So Hillary actually never had a real chance to be president. They weren't planning a military coup. They were planning an intelligence coup. And that's what we're seeing right now. That is what we're seeing right now. The intelligence community has been running this whole operation for years. They were going to drop intelligence on Hillary that would expose her publicly. That's what they were doing, the FBI anonymous agent on 4chan 2 years ago. That's what Q is doing. That's what all these intelligence people are doing. People inside the Inspector General's office, the intelligence community, they're dropping all these text messages on Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and all these other people, the corrupt people in Congress who are no longer running for Congress. They're all being exposed and outed. It's the intelligence community that's exposing all these people. The plan from the beginning was for the people in the intelligence community just decided, look, we're fed up with this. It ain't happening anymore. We're going to expose these people, and we're going to get rid of them once and for all. Andrew McCabe, Comey, everybody, all the corrupt, dirty people inside the intelligence community had the information, and they just decided, we are going to do an intelligence coup. How you do an intelligence coup is it's not about guns and power. You just expose, leak. You take someone like Q and you put him on 8chan and he just drops all this information. Brendan Dilley has a source and he drops information. And all these other people get information. And the intelligence community just outs all the corrupt people, and they get arrested, taken down, and they're out of government. And that they were going to do that with Hillary. They saw Trump as an outsider. They saw Trump as someone who could not be controlled by the deep state and the corrupt people. So they backed Trump, and they informed Trump, look, this is our plan. We're going to use our intelligence apparatus to expose all these corrupt people so we can get rid of them. And that is essentially what's been happening for the last 2 years. There's been a very organized intelligence coup, which is very different from a military coup. It's much safer, actually. Because you don't get people getting, killed, and there's not a lot of violence and rioting in the streets and stuff like that. Yeah, rumors of McMaster. Let's see. This week it's McMaster who's leaving. Next week it'll be General Kelly, and then the week after that it'll be McMaster, and the week after that it'll be General Kelly. I would not bet a whole lot of money on either of them leaving. And I don't have a whole lot more to share with you. I'm going to let you all go. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. I love you all. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next broadcast.